Welcome to RadicalWellnessTV.com. This is Laura Lee, and I'm here with Andrew, and he knows a lot about cannabis, the do's, the don'ts, and maybe some fallacies around it that some people might think is truisms, and they might be half-truths or not truths at all. What do you think, Andrew? What do you think about, like, the DUI with cannabis? Let's start with a bang.
With the cannabis. Well, I would say that the cannabis, I mean, to be on a more regulatory scale, I guess it should be used on the road, but at the same time, it's not as bad as a DUI. I don't feel like it's as much of a factor as if you were drinking beers and driving. I mean, if you drank 10 beers versus smoking, let's say 10 joints, you would have way less likely chance of having complications behind the wheel with marijuana rather than alcohol. As a matter of fact, they should do a test on it. You know, to see reaction speeds and stuff like that. I think it's I don't know if it should be as harsh of a charge with the marijuana, because not all people it makes tired, you know. So it depends on what marijuana you're smoking. If you smoke a sativa, it's not going to make you sleepy like an indica. So, I mean, it's kind of a hard thing to judge as far as like a law-wise, you know. So, I don't know. That's a tough one. I mean, yeah, there should be a law for it, but I don't know if it should be as harsh as a DUI. I mean, that's pretty extreme. DUIs are a little harsh on your wallet. So. Because, you know,
when we're dealing with cannabis, we take it seriously. Yeah. It's a medicinal thing. Yep. It's helpful just to navigate this crazy world we live in. Yeah. We're very functional people whenever we participate, showing up in life.
Yeah.
And we don't drink alcohol. Or, you know, I'm just saying that just people in general who are attracted to cannabis, it's an alternative to get some relief. But this craziness of making it illegal and putting people in prison and all that.
Yeah, that's extreme. None of those people should even be in prison. As a matter of fact, they should just release them.
Yeah.
Like, they should be releasing them right now.
Yesterday. You know? Yeah, exactly.
Yesterday. That's a pretty harsh thing to do to somebody and take them away from their families and everything else. I mean, that's.
Yeah. So who was it threatening? We all know who it was threatening.
Families. I mean, it's. Tearing apart families.
Why make it so illegal? Why make it such a harsh deal?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of factors. It's money. It could take from pharmaceutical. I think there's a lot of things in cannabis that pharmaceuticals failing to treat, and I think cannabis is kind of taking over some of those things, and people are actually finding out that cannabis actually is better for them than whatever they're handing them over on those counters. To be honest, the pharmaceutical stuff just keeps people coming back.
Right.
They're like the true drug dealers.
There you go. And
the legal ones, but I don't know why, but America made it legal.
Yeah, because of the money part.
And it is a money factor.
And the competition would have been the cannabis. But now people are standing in their own power and going, wait a second, let's do it different. And there's a lot of different things to do, because I believe we're in backwards land, literally. So, like, people say that, you know, it's a gateway drug. You try cannabis, marijuana, and you end up addicted to all these drugs.
And see, that goes by the individual. That has nothing to do with.
For example,
that's the most silliest thing to even like put out there and say that's true, because that goes on the individual.
Right.
Everybody's different.
Plus the gold medalist. Tell that story.
Oh yeah, like Michael Phillips. So you know, back in the day, they used to say marijuana does this to you, slows you down, makes you dumb, makes you so that your brain cells don't repair themselves, and that's. And even the thing with the DUI thing, if it's a DUI factor, it should some kind of make a balance, you know, mess up with your balance a little bit, your equilibrium. Well, Michael Phillips, I was using that as an example because, okay, if it messes with your equilibrium, why was he beating the crap out of everybody in the swimming meets in the Olympics? Those are supposed to be the top of the top athletes.
Right.
And he's smoking them like they're nothing, right?
Right.
While he's smoking marijuana. So if that's the case, that kind of shows some fallacies right there, you know. I mean, if it was so bad for you, then how was he able to, beat everybody in the pool by such large amounts, you know?
And I bet he smoked really good cannabis. How does that look? How do you know the difference?
See, what the way I grade marijuana, the first thing I look for when I smoke it, because I have asthma, is how harsh it is.
Okay.
Because the harshness kind of gives away the quality a little bit. I mean, was it flush good enough? Is there chemicals in it? You know, I can show you a difference. Like if you were to smoke something, I can show you a difference on the harshness wise. Like when you get that harshness where it feels like pins are poking in your chest, or it just makes you cough. I've smoked stuff where it made me cough to where I almost threw up. There was that bad of a cough. Now when stuff like that, I tend to think that there was some kind of mess up on the growing process.
Right.
Whether it was too much nutrients, whether it wasn't flushing it good enough, you know what I mean? Something like that.
What does flushing mean?
Flushing, pulling all the salts and everything out of the, you know, it pulls things out of the marijuana that aren't necessarily good for you, you know, when you're smoking it.
Okay.
I know there's like a happy medium to it, you know. Sometimes if you flush too much, it can strip the taste and this kind of the smell from it. If you don't flush it good enough, it can make it really harsh. Or if you don't flush at all, sometimes it can be harsh. I mean, I don't know every single ins and out of the growing part. I've seen it. I've been around it a lot, so I kind of have an idea. I mean, I've seen it, so you know, I've kind of been around it, but I'm not the grower, so I can't give you full details on every single thing, like as far as like like everything that it does to you, you know.
So know your farmer, basically.
The farmer would be able to explain everything more in detail.
Right, and they're serious folks. They're scientist farmers,
Yeah,
and they really love the plants because the plants are so powerful and magical, and solution orientated. I mean, the hemp alone can rebuild anything plastic.
Oh yeah. There's a lot more
fuel,
to it. It's not just
solvent.
medical wise. There's so many. I'm sure you could probably make fuel. Yeah, like you said, fuel out of it. You could probably make packaging, paper, all kinds of things.
Right.
And it's a weed. It grows it grows fast.
Right.
So
Exactly.
you can take out a lot of things that are wrong with this earth with marijuana.
Hold on for a second. So so how about you said that how you grade
Oh yeah, my grading scale.
Yes.
How I do it.
Yeah. Hold on for 1 second. I just got a little bit of a logging truck going through. Okay.
My grading scale, I go like this. Like I said, I start off with how harsh it is. You know, I like the smooth stuff. Our farmer, almost everything he grows is pretty smooth. That's everybody's reaction. Oh wow, it's really smooth. Oh wow, you know. That's because he just does a very good job at growing. I've never seen anybody work as hard as he does. He makes the growing weed look hard because he's always working. There's always something to do. I've helped him out there. I've been out on the farm. It's not fun at all.
Okay,
I mean,
right.
yeah, you get to smoke out there, but it's not fun. It's work.
That's what I hear.
You know, it really is work. It's an all-day thing. It's like every single day, 8 to 10 hours out of the day.
It's tedious, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
And he puts that time into it. He looks at every single plant. He touches everything. He knows what it needs, what it doesn't need, what needs to be done, temperatures. He's always looking at every single aspect of like what the plant needs. That's why his plants look all happy all the time.
Yeah.
There's no yellow in them. There's no dying leaves. There's no droopiness. They're always like happy, you know, pointing up. They got the right green. They're not light green. They're not too dark. You know, it's just there's a lot of factors into it.
Right.
And he pays attention to that. And the work shows. Because the aftermath, when you're smoking it, looking at it, smelling it, tasting it, all the factors are there. He gets them all down. So yeah, when I grade, I go harshness, then I go smell, then I go taste, because the smell doesn't always give it away. Sometimes it has a smell and it doesn't have the taste. Well, I look at the taste, I look at the looks, and then of course, if you have all of those things, the high will be for sure.
Right.
Because if you're getting all those out of it, for sure the high is going to be there. The highs are all different, you know, highs, whatever you want to call it, medicated, how much you feel medicated, whatever way you want to call it. Most people just say, "Oh, how high does it get you?" You know, so
That's your number one question,
yeah,
right?
yeah. That sometimes people ask that. That's their main concern.
Which is fine. So when you do try cannabis the first time, it's a little bit more potent, or
yeah, it might not be. No, well, if somebody's never smoked it, they don't know what to expect.
right?
So they don't know if it's gonna make it feel like a cigarette. You know how when nicotine hits you, it gives you that ring in your head. They don't know what it's gonna be like. It's gonna be like alcohol. So yeah, it can be scary your first time. Some people might get discouraged by that. They might, oh no, it made me paranoid. You know, but the thing that they don't know is that every marijuana and every strain isn't the same. So maybe that one made you paranoid, but if you go and smoke this one, different strain, it might not do the same thing. And it might be different for every person. So if it makes you paranoid, it might not make this person paranoid over here. You know, they're all different for every person. That's why, like I said, I don't describe the marijuana on the Instagram. I don't put like what it does to you, because it could do something different for every person. So you know, you can't really, one person can't vouch for the other person. They're all like that. It's all different.
What about dabbing? Do you know anything about dabbing?
Dabbing, yeah, you know, I messed with dabbing a little bit. It's very potent. It's very, I usually tell people if they want to go to sleep, that's the deal right there. If somebody feels like their tolerance is too high, dabbing is usually the way to go for them. I feel like dabbing too much is a little bit, it's a little, I don't know. Everybody, like I said, everybody's different, but I feel like dabbing too much kind of like messes up your
Too much.
tolerance.
Yeah.
Because once you start dabbing too much, nothing else.
It's too potent.
If you're only looking for the high. I really, honestly, I smoke only because it helps with stress relief. It helps me calm down. I don't get angry. You know, it kind of slows my brain down. My brain is always all over the place, so it kind of helps me, you know, with that.
How's your memory?
My memory's really good. My memory's actually better than my wife, and she doesn't hardly smoke ever.
Wow.
Rarely.
So it doesn't really affect that part.
I don't think so. Like I said, put me up against a test with somebody that claims they have a great memory, and we'll see how well me and them do head to head. You know.
Right. So that's a fallacy.
I'm betting it's going to be a close one. But my memory's still great. I don't have any issues with my memory that I can pinpoint that would say, hey, yeah, it's messing me up. Because if it did, I would have stopped using marijuana a long time ago.
Right.
If I would have known, like, you know, if I've noticed things, you know. And I've gone to school and smoked before, you know. I've seen, okay, for instance, like, when I was in high school, I didn't smoke marijuana at all. I was told it was bad and this and that. But a buddy of mine did, Max, and we were in pre-calculus together. We always came after lunch to the pre-calculus class. And he used to get so ripped, like his eyes would be red and everything. We'd take tests. I was getting like C's, C pluses. He was getting A's. So
there you go.
There you go.
Proof in the pudding right there.
You're saying it's making you stupid. Go up against that guy in a pre-calculus test, and that pre-calculus isn't easy.
That's right.
You know? So you have to study, and if he was getting A's and I was getting C's and I wasn't smoking and he was, well then, there you go. There's proof in the pudding right there.
So why do you smoke? Why would people want to smoke?
Me personally, I kind of, like I said, I do it for stress and everything, and the grower that grows for us, it's tasty. I like the taste of it. If it didn't have the taste factor, I probably would have never really smoked marijuana, because it has to taste good. I'm kind of like very picky, I guess.
Very meticulous.
About things. So if it doesn't taste good, I won't smoke it. Yeah. And if it wasn't smooth, because I can't smoke it and just be coughing up you know, lungs every time and messing with my asthma. It doesn't even really, honestly, my asthma hasn't gotten any worse or any better with smoking marijuana. You know, I mean, I've gotten out of shape. So I don't know, I mean, I've gotten back into shape before while smoking marijuana, and my lungs still do get better, because I've noticed, like, I could still hold my breath underwater for a very long time. Like, I used to be able to hold my breath for over 2 minutes under the water. I'd go, you know, at the end of the pool, back to the end of the pool with like nothing. But now maybe just they're back. But it's
tough.
just because I've been out of shape. I don't really think it's just because of the marijuana alone.
Right.
If I were
right.
to start running, get back in shape, I bet you my lungs would get way better. I mean,
Same with everything.
I guess there has been times where I did actually get in shape and I just started running, playing basketball a lot, and I've noticed like I didn't have to use my inhaler, but I was still smoking marijuana. So
Huh.
in that sense, it's kind of hard for me to sit there and when people tell you, oh, it messes your lungs up, or it's worse. I've heard people come in the smoke shop and tell me it's worse than smoking cigarettes. I'm like, I don't know what marijuana you're smoking,
Right.
but it's probably the grower that's causing those issues, because they were trying to tell me that it's likelier to get cancer from marijuana than cigarettes. I thought that was like the biggest horse crap I've ever heard, but they were swearing.
They
by
were-
it. They were arguing with me about it, and
Yeah.
I was just like, hey, you can go ahead and say whatever you want. I was like, did you smoke? Have you ever smoked marijuana? And they said no. So then, well,
How big-
I've smoked cigarettes just to try it, and it instantly triggers off my asthma. You know, people like to do they like to do blunt wraps.
Right.
I stay away from that because tobacco always triggers off my asthma. As soon as I hit a blunt, boom, I gotta
I get
take
it.
my inhaler.
Wow.
If I smoke it in a joint with some good papers, bam, it doesn't really, it's not really a factor with my asthma. Maybe once in a while it will, but not on
That's
the
interesting.
normal, you know. It doesn't really happen.
So let's shoot some stuff down that's falsy about cannabis and marijuana. Can I come back and interview you again? I have some other questions for you, but thank you, Andrew. You're awesome. And here at Radical Wellness TV, we love life, and life loves us back. See you in the next video. Thanks, Andrew.